Hey, yes sir, it's your boy KC Boxing Channel. You got it. I'm a new decorative boxing channel, and I'm out here trying to make my bones. That's right. Now, I'm making this video because I always double check just to see what's going on in the current state of boxing. And most of the time, I'd say over 90% of the time, I am correct. Now, I know that the downfall of HBO has been making media news all over. And that's good and dandy, because HBO need to be out of boxing for a while. But, oh, it's a motherfucking but in there. HBO is planning on showing more fights, meaningful fights, they said, fights that they can profit from. They even wanted to try to get into Deontay Wilder's and Tyson Fury mix. Oh yes, they talking about bidding and trying to get them to fight on HBO. Ha ha ha. I will laugh at that, but at least they trying. Now I will give them that. Now I might have been a little over anxious once I heard the news, but you know, boxing is boxing, you know, and I love boxing. So therefore, you know, I understand, you know, and HBO is one of the pioneers of boxing. We always watch, you know, Friday night fights, after dark fights, you know, so HBO is where a lot of great fighters got their start. You know, we're not going to talk about Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. I mean, it's a ton of fighters out there that fought on HBO. I mean, yes, they did leave due to certain issues with management, and but like I said, they're in it to make money. And that's the bottom line. Now, if it's not profiting you, then why should you continue, right? Right. But it's this word I like to use. It's called karma, right? See, you can't treat everybody like shit. You can't take sides doing commentaries. I looked at some tapes, went to YouTube and looked at some rerun fights. Oscar De La Hoya, that came on with Trinidad, when Trinidad beat Oscar De La Hoya. You know, HBO, they have shown some legendary fights. And I commend them on that, and I thank them for that. But as the years went on and the commentators got older, then their attitude seemed like it just switched, did a 360. Then guess what? What this KC station is not about, or channel is not about. the bias comes out. That's right. For some reason, they don't want to push the narrative of an African American fighter. Nor do they want to push the narrative of a Hispanic fighter. If they do, it's very little. But they wanted to get into the Kovalevs, the Triple G's, the Chocolito, till he got knocked out. He looked kind of impressive when he came back, but, you know, they thought they can take Triple G, build him up into a household name brand, and make him just the #1 star that fights on HBO. Well, first of all, and they should know this, being pioneers, to market a fighter has to learn English, or they only gonna go so far. I don't care how many people you knock out, but are you marketable? Are you fan friendly? Because if you're gonna fight in the States, you need to speak English. Mikey Garcia, he's a bilingual fighter, so his marketability is through the roof. Now, Canelo, he gets away with it because he's protected. He's protected by Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy, because that's their golden goose. That's what keeps their doors open. So I owe it all. Now, leave a comment or whatever if I'm wrong. But Jim Lampley is pretty much spearheaded the bias in HBO. Him and his sidekick, Larry Merchant. We all remember the in the ring fight with Floyd Mayweather, when it didn't matter how much Floyd won. It really didn't. When he fought Castillo, yes, it was a close fight. Yes, it was a tough fight for Floyd. But I keep telling everyone, you got to count jabs. You got to count body shots. Just don't look at the big punches, the eye-catching punches. You know, he did the same way with Madonna. Madonna was throwing on overhead rights, bouncing off his head, but Mayweather was against the ropes, shooting pop shots in the stomach. Those count. Those were the ones that put him over the top to beat Marcos Madonna. That's why everyone thought he won, but he did not win. He gassed out at the end. Then Floyd Mayweather started putting his punches together, and that was all she wrote. But that was on Showtime. But when he fought on HBO, John Gotti, Diego Corrales, Manfredi, I could name many people that he knocked out. Put it that way. And these are the people he knocked out. But he still didn't get no credit from HBO. They always found a way to tell him, well, yes, it was a clear victory for you, but it seems like you was having a hard time in there, and what this and that, and in one fight, Floyd just got, just tired of the shit, He said, you know what? You don't know shit about boxing. So him and Larry Merchant, got in it, and Larry Merchant said, I kicked your ass. And he said, you won't do shit. Which he wasn't, he just showing out. But if you listen to the commentary, you will listen and you can hear Jim Lampley pretty much egging on a lot of that, up to this day. Then he tries to get Roy Jones to agree with him. And sometimes Roy Jones don't, but the majority of the time he do. I call it bootlicking and cooning. That's what he does. He's a company man. He needs a check. So every time Jim Lampley say something that's biased, no matter what Triple G get hit with, no matter who Triple G fight. So what you think, Roy? Do you think that's well, yeah, Jim. It just was just on and on. Okay, like Floyd Mayweather fought Endo. I forget his first name, but he fought Endo in his hometown. He knocked him out. He took him to school. Floyd was hitting with rights like it wasn't no tomorrow. Showboating, schooling him, back, forward, round, side to side. Just doing his thing. Because Floyd was in his prime. But he still didn't get credit. Well, look at the seats. He will never be a star due to all the empty seats in here. They do not buy into Floyd Mayweather. You know how he talk. He doesn't buy into Floyd Mayweather. He's very talented. He's a great fighter. But he will never be an Oscar De La Hoya. He will never be a star. Well, Floyd outlasted HBO. Yes, he did. Floyd outlasted HBO. We seen the downfall of HBO because they didn't have anyone but Kovalev. Every time I see this fight game that Jim Lampley put on, he always speak of Kovalev. And of course, you know who his guest would be, right? That's Max Kellerman. Now, with Max Kellerman, yeah, he has a little boxing knowledge. Very little. He's the type that, and I don't mean to bring religious into this, okay? But I'm going to tell you something. I'm not new to this, but I'm true to this. He's like a preacher preaching out the Bible. But Max Kellerman turns it around to fit his narrative, his philosophy, his point. So he tried to fool the fool like he's an expert. Paulie would eat him up alive. And we all know who I'm talking about, Paulie Marciani on Showtime. Now, Paulie couldn't put a game plan together when he was boxing. Hey, KQ, KC, I'll keep it fucking real. He couldn't put a game plan for shit together. He only had 7 or 8 knockouts. That's because he had bad hands. I understand that. But he understands the game very well. There's no bullshit in it. You can tell. You can tell by the tone and the narrative and what's going on. So that's why Jim Lampley didn't want Paulie to be on the split team when Mayweather fought Pacquiao. He tried and tried to get Paulie off of there because he said Paulie was what? Pro Mayweather. They, for some reason, had a hard on for Floyd Mayweather. So you know what? Floyd got tired of it. So Mr. Al Heyman say, Floyd, you know what? I will buy your contract or pay off the rest of your contract so you can be free of the HBO and Top Rank. And there you go. Then Floyd ended up signing the biggest sports contract ever. He was the highest paid sports, not in boxing, in all sports. Then Jim Lampley goes on his show, The Fight Game, which is pretty much bullshit. Pretty much capital B, bias. Then he goes in on Al Heyman. And this was the same time that he was suing, not him, I'm sorry. That was the same time that Golden Boy, Top Rank 2, was trying to get money out of Al Heyman. They tried to take him to court, trying to sue him, saying he was monopolizing the industry. No. He just knew how to treat his fighters, and word traveled fast. What I tell you, this is new media. Get on board. So, he went in on Al Heyman on The Fight Game. First of all, he said PBC is going down the drain. PBC is losing money. Al Heyman is too ashamed to show his face. First of all, Al Heyman is not an Eddie Hearn. He don't bullshit you on TV. He don't say something on TV and then in closed doors he say something different. He don't want to shine. He want his fighters to shine. He don't need to shine. Hell, I wouldn't need to shine either. Just give me my dollars. But he's just not that type of dude. He's quiet and laid back, and he's like Umberto said, hey, he's like a ghost in the night. You don't know where he at or where he gonna be. So, therefore, he won the lawsuit, of course, and HBO didn't like that. So they went in on him again. Jim Lampley. See, Jim Lampley, he spearheaded all the bias and a little bit of racism. Oh yes, he did. Now, Chocolito, he's not an African American. He's dark-skinned, but I believe from Nicaragua. Alexia Arguello is his mentor, and he trains at his gym. So, there you go. So, anyway, so they tried to build Triple G up. I mean, they really, really tried. And I don't know if you remember, I told you that I was gracious enough to be invited to my longtime barber home, and he had a fight party. The fight party with Triple G and Canelo Alvarez. Well, that was a great fight. But when I saw that they were starving, they had one preliminary fight or co-main event, and that didn't last 30 minutes. Not even 30 minutes. So I looked when the camera went to the dressing rooms, and they still exercising. They still had on their warm-up suits. They even had their hands wrapped. I said, okay, then it must be another fight coming. You know, my barber, everybody. You know, it was a lot of us in there. You know, we had drinks. We had a good time. But I had to stand up and tell everybody, it will not be another fight. HBO fucked up on pay-per-view. So, what they do, they go to plan B. HBO goes to show all Triple G fights. Then they went and showed all Canelo fights, except the one when Floyd Mayweather beat his ass when he suffered the first loss. Yeah, the old man took his ass to school. So, right then and there, people say, oh no, it's going to be a fight. It's going to be another one. I said, look, it's 9:30. Now, going on 10 o'clock. How would they do that? Las Vegas, 2 hours behind. I'm Central Time. So basically what I'm trying to say is, HBO, first of all, it was Jim Lampley's fault. Not totally his fault, but I'm going to say half and half of his racism, calling Floyd Mayweather a son of a bitch, and using biasm and racism in his commentaries. Going after PBC, going off of Al Heyman, is just not a good look for a network. And the other half, the networks. Now, this is a business move. Why should we invest money into something that's pretty much going down the tubes for us? So they pulled the plug, which is understandable. HBO is not broke. Let's not get it twisted. They're not broke. They just don't have the extra money to put into something that's not doing well. You understand? Do you follow me? Do you understand me? So therefore, they came up with a decision while we were celebrating that we're not done yet. We still gonna be involved in boxing. We just not gonna deliver the fights unless they are big turnout fights. And this is true. This is quote unquote from one of the chairmen of HBO. And they said that they are still in negotiations with Al Heyman and Shirley Finkel about trying to have it on their network? I mean, that's crazy. Or let's say it was just trying to cool the heels down or try to put on a good look. Because if I'm not mistaken, Deontay Wilder going to be fighting on Showtime. Now, true enough, he doesn't have a contract with Showtime. But he's loyal to Showtime. So, therefore, that's not going to happen. I mean, I like their aggressiveness, and maybe they can get together with the Zone and make things happen. But I don't think the Zone want to touch them right now because they have a bad name. They quit. Put it that way. They quit. So, therefore, I had to bring this to my subscribers. And I want to get a shout out to all my new subscribers. Especially the new subscriber from the UK. Sounds like a good brother. And that's what I'm talking about. Sure, I love my American people. I love my American followers. But I would love to branch out to the UK. I need to know a little bit more about their boxers that don't have a name out there. And I'm still high off this guy, Anthony Yard. I would love to see one of his fights. Hopefully he'll be fighting before the year is out. So therefore, hey, if you listen in UK, reach out to me. I would love to have your sub, but if I don't, still reach out to me. Because, like I say, I'm not new to this, but I'm true to this. Been watching boxing and no boxing all my life. But I just started a boxing channel. So therefore, if you like what KC brought to you concerning HBO and Jim Lampley and all the negativity, hit the like button also. I need your subscription. I'm a new channel, and you know how the new channels go. You have to work yourself up to the top. And that's what I try to do. I fail not to put up no videos a day. I never skipped a day since I've been doing this. And I'm going into my 6th month. And I have 70 subscribers, which I understand. Everybody laughing. It's not a lot, but I'm telling you, I'm not going to quit. And I'm going to continue on bringing you the news of the current state of boxing. And I want to get a shout out to all my brothers. The LDBC, Fanon, all the channels that's doing what I'm doing. It's not easy because I'm doing it by myself. Most people with all these subs, they have cameraman, help, and all that. I don't. But what I do have is boxing knowledge. And I'm going to pass that on to my subscribers. And I will try to answer any comments you might have. And also, I would definitely subscribe to you. You subscribe to me, I subscribe to you. That's how I believe my channel should work. So, therefore, again, I'm KC, new executive channel, and I need your subscription. And once you sub to me, then hit that little icon bell. It will let you know, it will notify you each and every time I upload a video. And once I upload that video, you can check it out. And you won't be disappointed. And again, hit that like button on your way out. And like I said, I'm not new to this. But baby, I'm true to this. Peace and love.